Look, listen, whilst I find that very impressive, Jeremy, yeah, be careful, man. Fire is an addictive thing. It can creep into your day-to-day life. See, why are you juggling things that are on fire now? This is a dangerous game. You're cooking whilst the food is on fire. You're cooking a salad. Why would you even need fire for that? Oh my, so you're not even an electrician, so why are you playing with stuff? Are you happy now? See, this is what you get. What, fam? This is really not helpful. Yo guys, it is your boy Niran here, and you are watching FTW. This is of course the series where I bring to you the best and more frequently the worst of what football has to offer during the last 7 days. But what's been kicking off in the world this week? Well, in the UK, and the weather is a talking point. Guys, I am going to die. Temperatures across the country have been hitting peak Afghanistan levels, prompting the usual discussion online. 27 isn't even that hot. First of all, I'm 27 and... yeah, okay, fair enough. But second of all, our houses, they take heat and kidnap it like it's related to Luis Diaz. I'm practically drowning at my own desk at the moment with the amount of water that I need. Meanwhile, Paul Scholes just got a tan from looking at his own laptop. Wait, what is he watching on there?
Check his hard drive.
So that actually acts as the perfect segue. There's been a lot of discourse about a relationship that Lamine Yamal finds himself in this week. One with an adult model who's 29, being 12 years older than him.
Hard drive.
This situation would usually have someone sweating like a nun in a playground, which coincidentally is exactly where she found Yamal in the first place. Her statement about the situation was interesting. She was talking about, you know, the fact that she's received quite a bit of abuse. Her family have received threats and the such like because she was hanging around with him. Pictures emerging of the two on holiday together over the course of a weekend. She said that it was only a weekend and not like a full relationship. Not ideal, but either way, just probably shouldn't be going on holiday with him. Obviously, shouldn't really be a massive talking point. Usually, you know, in terms of a 17-year-old's dating history, I don't care, and I don't think people should care about the dating history of someone that young, but in this situation it is a little bit mad. She's an OnlyFans model and he is still 17. I don't think he's even old enough to have an OnlyFans account, for fuck's sake.
Real proper fucking weirdo.
Neymar has clearly had too much of an effect on the kid already. He had a break from his family reunion themed swingers club to go on holiday with the Barcelona youngster, and I can only imagine that's the reason this is all happening. If I had £1 for every time Yamal had been found being a rascal on Instagram comments, I'd have about £8, which isn't actually that much, but it's more than the monetization I'm about to receive off a video where I'm talking about an OnlyFans model. Not to be mistaken with the only fan in attendance at Club World Cup. Speaking of which, and that's where we head now, the Club World Cup has so far offered coaches having to be dentists instead of managing their own teams, to Donald Trump asking Weston McKennie to bomb countries in the Middle East. This thing has been madness after madness, I can't lie. And one of the main talking points from this week was weather delays that have been striking stadiums across the country. The heat it's pretty excessive over in America right now.
It can't go on like this, can it?
It can.
And it's leading to delays before kickoff because the temperatures are too high. The Met Office, they're doing too much at this point, I'm not gonna lie to you.
He wants to be the star too often, and it's really getting on my nerves.
Poor Erling Haaland will be passed out on the floor 4 minutes in. His Scandinavian genes can't take heat like this. And it seems like Red Bull Salzburg's admin couldn't take it over on Twitter either. It seems like the South American side are dealing with the heat a little bit better though. At one stage during the group stages, they were 15-5 up against European opponents. We are Europe now. These lot they've had no love for UEFA, yeah, listen. And featuring amongst all of that were Flamengo beating Chelsea. And their admin went absolutely mental over this, putting out a series of tweets that were absolute violations to the Blues. First of all, stating that the temperatures were too hot for cold farmer.
What?
Yeah, it's a shithousery award. They then asked where all of the Chelsea fans had gone, with a picture of their goal scorer cupping his ears to the crowd. They replaced the lion in Chelsea's badge with Bug's Life, and then even claimed it was an easy win against London Blues, the identity they have on Pro Evo. Yeah, Platinum Edition shithousery award. They've actually gone to... this is actually crazy. The Brazilian side, though, did, however, realise that Todd Boehly loves South American children, and so decided to delete all of these tweets in the interest of future revenue. One of the older players, though, Jorginho, faced off against his former side and absolutely dominated Chelsea's midfield. So one of them's a 58-year-old green pesto expert, but the other's one of the best midfielders in the world. Look, listen, I know who I'd rather have. It's still Caicedo, I'll be honest, but Jorginho played well. Nicholas Jackson was taking inspiration from his namesake Michael. No, not with the plastic surgery. That was DT's job this week. But his actions instead. Unfortunately, they were bad. A dangerous tackle leading to a red card. And now Chelsea fans will be hoping he's out of their lives. All of this happening on Nicholas Jackson's birthday. Nice to see that the referee even decided to give him a card. Only problem is it was a red one. The disrespect to give him a no-look sending off as well is crazy. Life's a lot more simple if you're Cole Palmer for multiple reasons. But instead of concerning himself with late challenges, he's instead answering a question of why he wears a mask on planes.
I wear a joke, I just don't like the smell of planes.
Oh, is that what it was?
So that's why I wear a mask. And it's just, when I travel, I feel like the smells and that, I don't like them, so.
The air conditioning and stuff.
Yeah, and stuff like that, so that's why I wear a mask.
It actually must be so easy just being Cole Palmer. Like, I'm actually jealous. It also saw a start for new boy Liam Delap, though I don't think this was the head game that Chelsea fans thought they were getting when they brought him in from Ipswich. I'm not gonna lie, he's got a lot of fitting in to do when he catches the rest of the Chelsea squad in the dressing room.
Big up the whole island, massive, it's your boy Chatana.
As for Flamengo though, unbelievable performance, deserved the victory here. Brazilian players are playing amazingly at the moment. Brazilian teams are playing amazingly. What the fuck is going on for the Brazilian national squad? Either way, Premier League and Champions League giants are ready to shit the bed at the moment when it's time to face 9th in the Brazilian League.
They don't know what the fuck they're doing.
And impressive given these sides have played over 70 games in their respective seasons, the likes of Palmeiras and Flamengo and Botafogo. Seemingly though, 70 games isn't enough to stop Denzel Dumfries and Marcos Acuna from wanting to tear each other's throats out. They've been beefing since World Cup 2022 when the Netherlands faced off against Argentina and went into faced off against River Plate this week. The same beef was sparked into life. They were staring each other in the tunnel before kickoff, I just know it. Acuna genuinely looked like he wanted to kill Denzel Dumfries here, I'm not gonna lie. They had a couple of moments during the game, a couple of challenges flew in between the two of them, exchanged some words, then decided at full time to run down the tunnel so they could have a bare knuckle fist fight with each other away from the cameras. We've got an official transcript of what Denzel said just before all this kicked off.
Come and find me. I'm in the car park now. You are an enabler.
The game might be back, honestly. This is brilliant stuff from the two of them. Real Madrid, meanwhile, faced off against Mexican side Pachuca. Before kickoff, a Barcelona fan was in the crowd hoping to taunt their El Clasico rivals, only to be hit with one of the best strikes that I've seen all year. Made even more incredible by the fact that it was filmed from both directions and on the Same For You page over on TikTok. Raul Asensio clearly hadn't scrubbed himself down hard enough in the shower before kickoff, as he decided to go get another early shower 7 minutes in. A straight red card for a last man challenge for Real. One of the worst things he's done, honestly, in like the last 7 minutes, I would say. Doing this against 16th in the Mexican League, by the way. This kid is actually finished. He's had a horrible tournament. It wasn't much better in terms of footballing ability coming from Vinny Jr., who failed at yet another rainbow flick.
He's done it again.
Honestly, if Ronaldinho ever sees this man do 5-star skill moves in the cage, he might have a heart attack. Vinny's highlights for the game were pretty poor.
From the screen to the ring to the back.
Meanwhile, in more serious news, and allegedly Antonio Rudiger was the victim of racial abuse from a Pachuca player. The referee could be seen doing the new anti-racism protocol, like a piece of sign language basically it's done between officials to show that something has been bookmarked really as a racial incident out on the pitch. Obviously wishing Rudiger the best, and hopefully if this is proven to be something that's been said, which hopefully can be picked up now with the referee's cameras and stuff, then we're looking at a lengthy ban for the player in question. Pachuca at least were excited for goals going in, scored against them. I don't know why they were bringing a Galazzo out for a goal they've conceded. Meanwhile, Real Madrid have been drawn against Manchester City in the next round of the competition. Will these two ever not play each other in knockout tournaments? Vinny Jr. is going to be left frustrated when they draw Man City in the Copa del Rey. Their City rivals Atletico, though, are out of the Club World Cup already. An Antoine Griezmann goal late on was not enough to save them against Botafogo as they go out on goal difference. Julian Alvarez left depressed at it all. Who am I kidding, man? He's got some serious Instagram content. Bro was aura farming halfway through this game. Barca fans could be seen laughing at Atletico on the timeline. Meanwhile, the group that Barcelona are actually in for this tournament is even worse than Atletico's. There was a shock between Bayern Munich and Benfica, where Andreas Sheldrup ensured the Portuguese side would win their group after a 1-0 win versus Vincent Kompany's side. Ref cam for this game was truly a sight to behold, and a sight that I would never want to behold again was Leroy Sané's performance in this one. His card for FC 26 has been leaked already. Honestly, Bayern fans will be catching him at halftime and sending him on his way to Turkey first class. He's going to need witness protection if he performs like this for Galatasaray. Rest in peace to Man City Sané, bro. That was a serious time, man. What a guy. Bayern fans could be seen raging at him up in the stands. Meanwhile, his teammates were so disgusted by his sofa score rating, they decided to go and watch the game in the dressing room instead. Either that or it was too hot outside, I don't even know. Shout out to New Zealand side Auckland City, who I told you about in the last episode. They got demolished 10-0 by Bayern Munich, but they ended their Club World Cup experience on a high, actually scoring against Boka Juniors and grabbing themselves a draw. Just to remind everybody, this is a side that's semi-professional, okay? These guys have actual jobs that they go back to after they play games in New Zealand. Their manager is a dentist. He couldn't even go to the tournament because his NHS schedule was too busy. So he wouldn't know who was the semi-professional side based on the shooting on offer from Boka Juniors. Christian Gray, who is a trainee PE teacher, grabbing the all-important goal here. 50 Shades of Pain, realistically, if you're Boka here. Christian Gray head game striking once again, but a slightly different situation this time. Listen, what a trainee PE teacher, fam. The reception he's gonna get when he walks back into that school is gonna be crazy. So let's be honest, he's gonna be absolutely battering the kids in PE in 5 years from now. Heading to Miami, and Lionel Messi was preparing for his Club World Cup duties with a cake that was made for him by his wife Antonella and featured Smurfs on it. Nice to see they found a life-size replica of the Argentine to put on it.
Ring ring pum that hamstring.
In the stands, and one old woman was trying her luck, bringing a banner asking whether she could marry Lionel herself. Might be slightly out of the Tinder age bracket, but it's worth a try. Meanwhile, Leo played up against Brazilian side Palmeiras, and incoming Chelsea youngster Estevao, whose nickname Messinho couldn't quite believe his eyes when he was presented with his icon. He said that Leo had left his legs shaking because he was so nervous.
Beg your pardon?
It was him in the crowd. He was the woman. I'm not gonna lie to you. There was wholesome moments for youngsters elsewhere, though, in the Club World Cup this week. Gonzalo Garcia, who's been in Real Madrid's academy since 2014, scored the first goal of the new Xabi Alonso era for Real. Liam Delap also managed to grab his first goal for Chelsea against Esperance de Tunis. Honestly, an absolute rocket of a strike. No goalkeeper saving that one. Claudio Echeverri also grabbed his first goal for Manchester City in beautiful style, scoring this free kick against Al Ain, and an absolute banger of a game between Borussia Dortmund and South African side Mamelodi Sundowns. Dortmund came out on top 4-3, with Jobe Bellingham scoring his first goal for the club, himself and his brother Jude both getting man of the match together. As for Mamelodi Sundowns, they might be out of the competition, but they really did themselves justice, and their fans really brought the vibes. Mexican side Monterrey had a unique way to deal with a central free kick for Inter, and that was to leave a gap in the middle for where the goalkeeper would be, and then put two walls either side. Botafogo's wall, well, that was a little bit more industrial, shall we say. Yeah, they were caught building a brick wall in front of their goal to try and deal with the onslaught that would be Paris Saint-Germain. Turns out the defenders were enough of a wall themselves, not gonna lie. In the stands, though, and instead there'd be an onslaught of punches being thrown as fans of either side ended up clashing. You can't slip before a fight. You just have to admit defeat straight off the bat. It's just a forfeit. You lose on away goals or something. Speaking of clashes in the stands, and one Boka Juniors fan turned up to a River Plate game. It's no surprise these lot don't allow away games in Argentina, because I don't think he would have made it out alive. He's either stupid or brave. And stupid. Boka fans, meanwhile, were getting rattled by a completely different source, that being like a 7-year-old Bayern Munich fan who decided to turn around and shush them when the German side took the lead. Getting rattled by a kid like that is absolutely crazy. I wouldn't have it. There was a little bit more wholesomeness going on, though, for one Boka Juniors supporter who 2 years ago was interviewed on TV saying that his family had sold his PlayStation, amongst other things, so that they could go out and experience, watching Boka Juniors or being in the same city as them when they were playing in a continental tournament. That same fan was brought to the attention of the club, and he was used as an official shirt model for their 2025 kit. Down on the touchline, we've got Ange Postecoglou to the opponents. Sergio Ramos was feeling like giving away a penalty to the opponents with his absolutely ridiculous double-footer tackle. Nothing came from it, but if he connected with a player, that's a surefire red.
We'll have a look. Of course we'll have a look.
Meanwhile, a massive shout out to Georgie Minongu, an Ivorian footballer who was told a couple of years ago that he'd never play football again after contracting a rare disease that left him blind in one eye. He didn't give up, however, and is now playing for Seattle Sounders and has been rewarded with a game against Paris Saint-Germain, the European champions, in the Club World Cup. It's truly a fairy tale story for the 22-year-old. Now in the Premier League, and Arsenal are finally having their stamp on the transfer window. It's just a shame that the stamp is second class. Kepa Arrizabalaga is heading to the Emirates, I am assuming to come in as a backup goalkeeper, but he'll be left frustrated with his new boss when Mikel Arteta says he wants to put him at left back.
Is he walking away from the job?
Literally, any Manchester City midfielder midfielder is going to be having a whale of a time striking one from distance 65 yards out, seeing that he's in goal. And the other signing that they have made is Christian Norgard coming in from Brentford because Thomas Partey is leaving. Please not think he's going to have green lines with Odegaard because the name's similar. Norgard I actually think is a pretty decent player, in fairness, but is it still really what Arsenal truly need? Mikel won't want to answer any questions when he's asked about whether he's going to sign a new striker. Alejandro Garnacho ruffled some feathers at Manchester United after posting a picture of himself on Instagram in a Aston Villa Marcus Rashford kit. Mark Goldbridge was leading the line in terms of annoyed United fans, saying it was a real kick to the teeth for Red Devil supporters and that he basically made himself look like a snake by wearing the kit of another Premier League team.
Oh my God. There he is. Look at this twat. And he's not even got the right kit on.
It's absolutely fine, Mark. Don't worry about it. Because Aston Villa will sure as hell be turning his arse down if he wants to go over there. Meanwhile, the man whose shirt he's wearing, Marcus Rashford, has allegedly made himself available for Real Madrid. Problem is that Real Madrid are not available for him. It is a one-sided relationship. Yeah, and I've also made myself available for Dua Lipa. And Manchester United, though, a big announcement coming in for them. They've hired a new chef. Yeah, lads, I've never seen an announcement for a head chef in my life at a football club. What the hell is going on here? This is utter woke nonsense. Honestly, I feel bad for him. This new chef is going to be struggling when he sees a rat family of 8 eating his starters instead of the United fans. The budget for this guy's meals with Jim Ratcliffe in charge are going to be £3.50. Get yourself to Tesco, mate. This is quite literally Hell's Kitchen. All I know is Luke Shaw's first order for this new chef is going to be monumental.
Fried rice, special chow mein, plain chow mein, sweet and sour chicken balls, sweet and sour chicken Hong Kong style.
Only he's going to be pretty devastated when he gets given some healthy quinoa from this pro chef instead of a KFC.
Liverpool, we've been here for time.
Shut this whole thing down. Shut it down.
He'll be walking past the turkey twizzlers in the canteen thinking about what could have been. At Chelsea, and Ukrainian winger Mikhailo Mudryk is on a charge back to Premier League football. Oh no, sorry, he's been charged by Premier League football. The FA have given him an official charge after doping allegations that came out about him last year. He was already basically banned and suspended by the club, but now he is facing a 4-year ban. Honestly, doing us all a favour, apart from Chelsea themselves, who still have 5 years left on his contract at the end of that one. He changed his Insta bio to basically dealing with people hating on him. I mean, it's pretty easy to, mate. You've just failed a drugs test, lad. He's literally done steroids and got worse. Has that ever happened in the history of sport before? Now, over in France, and there's devastating news for a former giant of the nation. I mean, to be honest with you, still a big club. They qualified for the Europa League this season. It is Lyon, who have been relegated to Ligue following the breaking of financial regulations and the amount of debt they currently find themselves in. Now, they are allowed to appeal this decision, and they believe that they managed to pass these regulations, but it's not looking good for a team that once won 7 Ligue 1 titles in a row. Honestly, at least Alexander Lacazette has found his level. That's really all I can say. Europe's biggest clubs will be taking a lowball approach when negotiating for some of their players now.
How much is this?
149, sir.
I've got 50p. Fuck you, bastard.
Honestly, this is just sad for French football, isn't it? I mean, French football has been in the bin for a few years now. Obviously, the controversial TV deal collapse that happened over there was a massive factor. Realistically, the only team that was ever going to survive from that and really prosper was Paris Saint-Germain, and that's because they have so much money in the first place. You've got a lot of French sides that used to be massive that are plummeting through divisions or are getting automatically relegated. I mean, we had it with Bordeaux, who were relegated to the 3rd tier. They are at least looking like they've stabilized a little bit, but now with the addition of Lyon not being in the top flight, and it's just a sad sight. Elsewhere in Ligue 1, there's the news that Paul Pogba's found himself a new home. He is on the verge of joining Monaco, following on from his spell at Juventus a couple of years ago that was cut short due to failing a drugs test. Imagine Monaco's coach seeing Paul turn up for his first training session, fresh off the back of another set of PEDs.
Brother vanishes for 2-3 weeks. He comes back, he's got muscles on his ears, ya Allah, muscles on his ears.
Graham Souness, get yourself back in the game, sunshine. You got someone to hate again. He's going to be having to learn a new language just to violate the midfielder on Canal Plus.
It caused a red card for him, and nobody talks about the shot that Landrew would have been happy to see.
Although, to be fair, I don't think he'll have to try very hard. Can't imagine Paul will be on his top form after 2 years out of the game.
On his fucking day, he's just fucking better than the fucking...
In Italy, and Alvaro Morata has been linked with a move to FC Como. Honestly, this guy must get FOMO every time a transfer window starts, because why is he involved? Like, we don't care anymore. I'm convinced the man's a money laundering scheme, honestly. There's a new manager over at Parma, and it's Carlos Cuesta, who you may know as being involved in Arsenal's coaching staff as kind of like an advisor and like tactical guru during Arsenal All or Nothing. He has become manager there at just the age of 29, making him the youngest manager to coach in Italy in 85 years. His players will be confused when he starts bringing out light bulbs for team talks at half-time. Juve Stabia have made a new signing. They're bringing Mussolini back to Rome.
What is going on here?
Yeah, the great-grandson of, like, the dictator, Mussolini, has signed for Juve Stabia. If he's not playing out on the right wing, then they've done something catastrophically wrong. Speaking of wingers, Samuel Chukwueze was back in his native Nigeria, hosting the Chukwueze Champions League, where Nigerian sides got together to take part in a tournament, and his AC Milan team, unsurprisingly, won on penalties. Sampdoria completed their journey of getting unrelegated. Yeah, the side that actually finished in the relegation zone in Serie B and booked their place, therefore, in a division below, Serie C, were handed a lifeline when they ended up in the playoffs instead, thanks to Brescia going out of business. They then faced off against Salernitana and win 5-0 on aggregate, thanks to Salernitana fans throwing chairs and projectiles onto the pitch and getting the game abandoned. Meanwhile, Catanzaro's mascot is waiting for their new manager, Alberto Aquilani, who's just become their new coach. He was seen chilling, waiting for him in the airport. There was more dramatic scenes over in Spain, where Santi Cazorla helped Oviedo win their promotion playoff 3-1 and head back to La Liga for the first time in 24 years. Their story is incredible, and so is Santi Cazorla's. He came through their academy. He's been playing for them for basically minimum wage, so they don't have to spend any money for his services. He donates most of the money that is earned through shirt sales to charity or to the club. And Oviedo themselves almost went out of business like 13 years ago. So their return back to the top flight of Spain is incredible. Spencer FC will be absolutely loving it.
Yes, boy! Come on, suck it! Suck it!
And their fans were showing passion on the streets. Now that it's time for your goals of the week, we got some beautiful strikes once again. First of all, we head down to the second division of Brazilian football, where we've got our weekly absolute slapper from the halfway line. Over in the CONCACAF Gold Cup though now, and Javain Castaneer, playing for Curaçao, is cutting in from the left-hand side, and he's seen a vision. He's seen the ball flying into the top right corner, and that's exactly what we're about to see as well. So finally, we're back to all, and welcome to the beautiful game. The segment where we take a look at the poetic and brilliant side of the game that we love. We are back by popular demand for yet more glorious beauty.
Essa bola não vai chegar, ele precisa ir na direção dela, tem que ir nela. Henrique manda pra frente, briga por ali o Jefferson. Entrou há pouco, se atrapalhou. Essa bola bateu na mão do camisa 8. Falta!
And that concludes the beautiful game. Now, at the Under-19 Euros Championship, and we had maybe the game of the entire year. Spain versus Germany was 1-1 after an hour, so you're probably not going to guess what it ended up being. That's 6-5 the scoreline after extra time. Yet a stupid amount of goals in injury time alone. I think 3 goals, including one dramatic 99th minute equaliser from Germany, having been leading the game going into the 90th minute, saw this one go to extra time, where there was then another flurry of goals, but Spain ended up coming out on top 6-5. Pablo Garcia, though, did score the pick of the bunch directly from a corner. One of 4 goals he scored that afternoon. There was ridiculous scenes in the Under-21s European Championships as well, where Italy were down to 9 men against Germany after 2 red cards. They get a free kick in the 96th minute and managed to put it into the top corner to force it to extra time. Unfortunately, they would go out, but a really spirited effort. Meanwhile, there was spirit of a slightly different sense, more violent going on for Spain. They were knocked out by England, but not before this Spanish defender could put in a horror tackle at the end of it, thanks to being too frustrated, and that led to a massive scrap between the two sides. Over in Saudi Arabia, Cristiano Ronaldo has decided that he's actually staying at Al Nassr. He had posted saying that it was the end of a chapter a few weeks ago, but has seemingly U-turned and signed a new deal at the Saudi Pro League side. He's dropped the shoulder on all of us. I say that, not a single person actually truly cares about the Saudi Pro League in big old 2025. David De Gea, though, was there to poke fun at his former teammate, saying that Big Ron was even willing to play there for free. Yeah, £0. Plus like £40 million, blah. Switzerland's women's side were on the wrong end of an embarrassing defeat this week, losing to a side of under-15s from Luzern. One of their players could be seen absolutely clamping Alicia Lehmann just 6 minutes into the match. Yeah, not sensational PR, but I mean, look, you know what? It's not really a reason to clown women's football. I think it just shows that it's kind of far behind in terms of its development. You only started to see teams going professional like fucking 5-10 years ago. Shout out to this banner at Glastonbury, where someone's brought the Mick McCarthy McCarthy meme with them. Back at the Gold Cup, and Haiti's left back, we'd like to imagine that he's got a pretty decent CV with that surname. Scottish side Dumbarton fielded an experimental side for one of their pre-season friendlies. A team full of trialists. A big day for the trialist family, I've got to say. In Norway, and Fredrikstad midfielder Eirik Grennan has managed to break a record, becoming the youngest player in Norwegian football history. He's like 15 years and 90 days old, which is even younger, of course, than Martin Ødegaard when he made his debut in Norwegian football, and we all know what he went on to do. At the other end of the age spectrum, though, is Kazuyoshi Miura. Well known for being one of the oldest footballers in the world, he came on for Atletico Suzuka in Japan at the age of 58. It's the first appearance of his 40th season as a professional footballer. Meanwhile, one man younger than that, but has been firmly retired for a while, is David Beckham. One football fan couldn't quite believe his eyes when he met the former England captain in traffic. Closer to home, Mickey van der Veen is enjoying his time away from Spurs. That's even without the fact that he's on holiday. He's just happy to not be playing for Tottenham, I assume. He was pictured with a supporter in Ocean Beach in Ibiza holding a vape. This man can hit 47 miles an hour running and be hitting a Lost Mary as well. That's actually kind of impressive, to be honest. At Burton, this footballer, whose name is quite literally Daddy, has left the club to go to Iceland. It's a bold move to go into the supermarket sector, I'm not gonna lie to you, but meanwhile, there's a firm splitting of opinion after Reading announced their new kit for the season. It looks like it's inspired by a play at Wetherspoons. It is kind of a hate crime, but it is unique. Like, if this was made by like a fashionable team, then I think we actually would kind of like it. I think it's just let down by the sponsor being Select Car Leasing. You can't have like a nice classy shirt and then be sponsored by Select Car Leasing, lads. In Norway, a sensational 5-4 scoreline here, but the revelation that this side called Hinna have a player that scored twice, who's also called Hinna, in Algeria, and there were strange scenes when a game just simply didn't get going, both sides deciding not to kick off as a way to protest over the league introducing a pay cap for them. We've got some unique training going on elsewhere. Not got the finances for training equipment? It's alright, just use a machete again instead. I'm sure it'll be absolutely fine. No goalkeeping training needed for this 7-year-old goalkeeper. He's going right to the very top with this absolutely mental save from point blank after a rebound. In Lithuania, and DFK Dinava ended a winless run that went on for the entire season. They won their first game of the campaign with a 93rd minute winner. They are still bottom of the league though. Now there is time for Still 0-0, and you guys know the score by now. This is a segment of the show where I bring to you the best of Sunday League and amateur football. Now again, there's definitely a misconception with Still 0-0 that I always show the bad bits, and that's because usually I only show the bad bits. However, we can show a little bit of promise today, because not only have we got some positivity, yeah, some serious footballing ability, we've got it from the next generation. We've got it from a young kid who genuinely doesn't know what footballer he even wants to be. Because from this one clip alone, we've got this literal child playing like Ronaldinho, winning the ball back, dribbling past people, and then effective in the final third. This kid is going to the very top as well. On to the weird stuff though now. First of all, though, we head to the other end of the age spectrum where we find the oldest footballer in the world. Yeah, you might be surprised here. I just talked about Kazuyoshi Miura from Japan, who at the age of 58 is one of the oldest professional footballers in the world. Well, we're not finding a professional footballer here, but it's still one that is impressive. Meet Luis Guillot, who plays in Gibraltar at the age of 87 and has been recognised by the Minister of Sport over there. An actual, genuine, incredible achievement, apparently, that is helped by his love for napping. That's the reason he's had so much longevity. Napping. Me, I'm making it till I'm 100, fam. And finally, we head over to Germany, where there's been some foul play for the elderly. Hertha Berlin and Union Berlin are quite obviously rivals, given they play in the same city. And that rivalry extends to all of their football clubs. In this case, they're over 50s. So Union Berlin, going into the final day of their elderly season, were in a position where they could get relegated if results went against them. Union Berlin had got themselves out of the relegation zone with a 4-1 victory. The team they leapfrogged is called Croatia Berlin, and they now needed to beat Hertha Berlin by 6 goals in order to get back out of the relegation zone. Things were looking great for Union Berlin until their rivals Hertha decided to concede 8 goals in 15 minutes at the end of the game to complete the goal difference swing and for Union Berlin to go back down into the relegation zone. They've called for an appeal on the situation and said it's match fixing, but overall it's a massive shithousery award from me. That though is going to wrap up football this week, and I hope you have enjoyed it. If you have, then feel free to slap a like on the video, and of course subscribe if you're new to the channel. You can also follow me on social media. It is at officialfng on Twitter and on Insta. But it's been a pleasure ranting at you guys today. Have a wonderful day, enjoy yourselves, and goodbye.